chat. And today the idea is to show to you this new script that I released. Well, I released the script on the past, but this new script have some changes in the logic used for this. And we will see that today MPARR is easy to get. I will start from zero. I will not do the installation, only to show that is simple to get the script. I will use the same script that today is available in the GitHub page. And let me go very quick here. cd / MPARR2 webinar. And I will execute the script, MPARR2 setup. I will install the rest of Orton modules that I need. And I will download, remember that today the application permits to download all the files from internet and update the files from internet. I will set all the folders. I will install here on MPARR2 webinar. And I will download all the new files. And we are ready to go. And the only thing that I need here that I take from a previous configuration is my LA config file that contains the configuration for my tenant. That is the only thing that I'm getting from outside. Okay, we are ready to go. What happened? And let's go step by step. Today, we have the command export content explorer data. Export content explorer data is a commandlet available through the connect IPP session and permit to export the data for a specific tag, for a specific tag name over a workload and a specific user or account. In the previous version, I was using something like this. I was getting the tag type that can be sensitive information type, sensitivity labels, retention, or trainable classifier. Then we was going through all each sensitivity name, sensitivity label, or a trainable classifier, and we was selecting only the workload. And we saw that in very long, big environment, we was having some errors. I found that the same errors happens in the web interface. And to reduce the problems related to that, the new script get all the list of sites and get all the accounts and start running the script one by one. It's more slow, but reduce this problem related to get all the data and having problems with only one specific user or one specific site. The script and the commandlet was dropped. With this one, if we have problems only with one account, with one site, that is skip it and we can go forward. To use this script is very important to understand what we have today on Microsoft Purview. If we go to Microsoft Purview, compliance.microsoft.com, and we go to data classification and we saw Content Explorer, we can see here that we can see the data through these 4 different tag types. That means sensitivity labels, sensitive information type, trainable classifier, and retention labels. And if we want to find something, we need to identify the specific sensitive information types and then go through it, change one return. That normally it works fine if we are auditing the data, we need to find something specific. But if we want to create report, business-friendly report to show metrics to the entire organization, this information, this way to see the information is not friendly, because normally I will try to see first of all on SharePoint which kind of sensitive information types that they have, on SharePoint which kind of sensitivity labels. But in this case, I need to go through each of them to get that data. That is not too helpful. Now, to use the script, let me show you the configuration files that are associated. We have this one, MPARR2 tag type, that permit to identify if you want to download retention, sensitive information types, sensitivity labels, or trainable classifier. What we can do is change values from through to false, or from false to true, to identify which kind of data we want to download. Then we have the workload. If we, let me open with Notepad. If you want to skip, as an example, a change or Teams, we can select that values on false, and here is set to download the information only for OneDrive and SharePoint. The values are set to true. The other file that is very important here is this one, trainable classifier. Unfortunately, today on on PowerTel, we don't have any commandlet to get the list of trainable classifier. I built this list manually. And again, if you want to avoid or get some specific trainable classifier, you can change the values to true to or false. That's depend the data that you want to download. If you have custom trainable classifier, you can add manually to this list, because as I mentioned, we don't have any way through PowerShell commandlet to get the list of trainable classifier. For sensitivity labels, retention labels, and sensitive information types, if we don't set anything, we will get all the sensitivity labels, all the sensitive information types, and all retention labels. But we will see that the script have the option to create the JSON file, getting our sensitivity labels, getting our sensitive information types, including custom, and getting our retention labels. Let me go. We just downloaded the solution. I will get MPARR Content Explorer data. And the first thing that I will do is check dependencies. Check dependencies, and I will use manual connection. Here is very important. I can do with check dependencies first. This script needs elevate privilege, and I understand that it's not common to give elevate privilege to a script. For that reason, we have the options to run manually. And you can see here that I am getting all the validations. That is, for that we can use check dependencies. If you want to run manually, we can always use the manual connection option, and we can merge the different options. In this case, I will use the option to create configuration files. With create configuration files, we will see that in the config file in our MPARR2 installation, that 3 new files will appear. One for the sensitivity labels, another for the sensitivity information types, and the other one for retentions. Here you can see that is getting the data. The files are created here as a JSON, and you can set, changing true by false, which kind of data that you want to get. This is very, very important. Now I have the three files that I need to use, because maybe, and that is the most important with the sensitive information types. On my case, on my environment, I have more than 400 sensitive information types that include the built-in plus the custom. Maybe I don't want to get the information about HIPAA, or I don't want to get information from maybe some EMEA countries. I can change the value from true to false to avoid get that information. That is the way to use these configuration files. Now, let me show the next steps. Let me go here. I will do this exercise with retention labels that is small on my environment. I will take the configuration files. The workload I will set on SharePoint and OneDrive. We review that. The tag type, let me double check. To set only to retention, it's set only to retention. And on retention labels, I have all the values on true, but I have only 3 that contain information. In that case, I can replace true by false. And I will use this specific because we will see that error that happened with some users on some site. Unfortunately, that is something, it's a reported bug, and the product group is working to fix that issue on the Commandlet and on the service. But let's go forward on this. Something that is very important, I can run MPARR Content Explorer data. If I use in this way and your configuration is set to Logs Analytics, the data will send to Logs Analytics directly. If you change the configuration to even have, that will be sent to even have. But if you set even have, but for manual connection, you can use the option export to even have. We have export to even have, and we have different options to create JSON files. We can mass export to CSV, and we can mass export to JSON format. In that case, if I execute this one instead to send to Logs Analytics, we will see that in this one is created a folder, call it Content Explorer Export. We will see that, and the files are sent. This mass export to JSON will send to that Content Explorer Export. Let's see. Let me refresh. Here you can see that the folder is created, and this will go through each available combination between retention labels, each retention label, and each OneDrive account, and each SharePoint account. When we found some information, that information will be start adding to a JSON file. If we don't found any kind of data, we will add this CSV file, a record saying that for this specific query, the information was not get. The result was empty. What happened for that? If you want to do double check later, let me copy this one to here to the desktop. We can see that all this execution return 0 result. But here is right the same commandlet that I am using, the script is using. In that case, if you want to test, you can get the same query, and connecting to the IPP session, you can copy and paste and validate that you can see if that commandlet return data or not. Here, as an example, you can see one of the errors that normally we can get. I need to validate why that one was dropped with that parsing. I will start sending the data to Logs Analytics right now. But here it's important to see. Let me go here, see program file, MPARR2 webinar, content export. Okay, we was not having a result in this one. I will check that one. But what's happened? I remember that if I select this position, OneDrive, and then I believe that is my user Mike, I will obtain an error. That is the same error that is happening on this error is the same that is reflect when we run the script. If we run the script, this MPARR Content Explorer data, to get all the information from OneDrive where the retention label is this position 1 in this sample, and maybe you have 1 million of records, and the script fails in the record 1000, the rest of data will not be downloaded. That was with the previous script. With this new one, we will skip that and we will continue with the next one. And we will have that CSV file that contain the error related to this position 1 retention label over this account. But the rest of data will be continue getting and sending to CSV, Json, or Logs Analytics. We can see here that the data that we are collecting, let me go here, have this format. And why we are sending to Logs Analytics? That is because MPARR works with Logs Analytics or Event Hub, and from there we can create several different kind of report. Here I am getting the data. I was running the script previously because can take several time. And here you can see the sample of the data that is collected after you execute the export content explorer data. We can get the tag name, the location, file source, file URL. This file source can be used to identify the specific SharePoint site, the file name, and contain information about sensitive information types, trainable classifiers, and other information. With that, the next step, and I hope to release next week some report to start collecting the data, we can obtain a report like this one. This permits me to see the total active files that I have on SharePoint and how many of those files contain sensitivity labels in this case, and how many of those files contain sensitive information types, or how many of them contain retention labels or trainable classifiers. And inclusive, I will refresh the data to show the last time that I updated this information was months ago. And now, after update the data, these values will be changed, and we will obtain the total number of current labeled document. Here you can see that the number was increased, but inclusive, the total active files on my side was increased as well. The total file with sensitive information types was increased, and this is a totally other way to see the data, because now I see that the less of 10% of my data is protected, and I need to do something to protect all the information. And more than 30% of my data contain sensitive information types. And for all of these, that is the report that I will work, we will see the details, the file name, file location, and all of that. Right now, here as an example, we can see the sensitivity labels that was applied. These are the sensitivity labels, 746, and here is the distribution. On the case of sensitive information types, I can see here the distribution for the sensitive information types. The same happened on OneDrive, the same happened on emails and chat on Teams. As I mentioned previously, all the data is here. If we need to get the specific file name, the specific path, and all of that, can get from here, and that will be the next steps. Release some report to get that information that is coming from this new script, MPARR Content Explorer 2, that is sending all the information to our logs analytics. What happened? Because this is a small environment and can take several hours to execute because we go through all the combinations possible. If I have on retention labels 4 different retention labels and I have 10,000 users, I will run the export 40,000 times. For each user, I will get the 4 labels. And then I will continue with the rest of user or the rest of site. In that order of idea, the configuration files that I was showing to you here in the configuration folder can be very helpful to select the specific tag that I want to get. Let me open with the Notepad++. The specific tag that I want to get, the specific workload that I want to get. And remember, as I showed at the beginning, I will have the capability through the same script to generate the list of sensitivity labels or the list of sensitive information types. If I don't need certain kind of sensitive information types, my recommendation is try to change the value from true to false to only focus on the data that you want to get. And normally, as I mentioned, this one required some elevate privilege, but I add the options to run with manual connection. This script is recommended to run at least monthly. That with that, you will have a complete overview about what is happening in your environment. And from there, you will be available to create different report to show the information to different users. That is, in general, the presentation from today related to this new Content Explorer data script. I don't know if you have any kind of questions or comment. Please feel free to ask, or any feedback related to this script. I hope that this script can be very helpful, because today, when you try to use manually the Content Explorer commandlet, when you try to execute manually, the big deal with this one is related that the limit, this one return only 10,000 records. If you need to get more than 10,000 running manually, you need to start creating a PowerShell script to page in the result using this option for more page available and start collecting the data. With this one, you can simplify that step and permit to get all the data. Someone is asking to permit to export to Logs Analytics. Is Logs Analytics or even have? You cannot export to both services at the same time. Happen that when you configure MPARR with the new configuration, here is the LLA config file, but give me a moment. The keys are not encrypted. Let me encrypt the keys first. I was just pasting that one. Give me a moment. MPARR2 webinar is only for security. Let me encrypt the keys. Oh, sorry, I opened Power Tool. It's opened me Power Tool 5. I need to use on Power Tool 7. Okay. Wait me a moment. MPARR2 setup. This is quick. No worries. Okay, now I can show this configuration file. The keys are encrypted. As I mentioned, inclusive, this is the old configuration file. Let me show the new one. Let me update the file. I get an old file, an old LA config file. But today, when you use MPARR, we can use this one to check the LA config file. LA config file, open. Okay, you can see here that the export to even have, if I set to true, that configuration will replace the logs analytics configuration. But by default, MPARR and this script Content Explorer send information by default to logs analytics. If you set the configuration and you set the value to true, we will be available to send to logs to even have instead to logs analytics, but doesn't send the information to both places at the same time. Let me show you. I can show that. I will. Do you want to change? Yes, I want to change the current configuration. I want to execute manually instead of automatically. I will not replace my current configuration, and I need to add the even have configuration. Let me come in here, even have. This is the even have namespace, MPARR8EH. Let me copy this one to here on the configuration. And I need the even have instance name. The even have instance names is here. Is MPARR even have. We'll see. You can see now the LA config file was updated with all the new information. It's still on false because I will use the manual connection to send to even have. And let me show you. What can I do is I can execute the same MPARR Content Explorer and add the option export to even. With this configuration, we will get this one, and instead to send to logs analytics, we will start sending the data that match to even. When we found something, we will see here that on this one, well, on my case, on the MPARR even have, I am sending to an Azure Blob storage. In that case, that information is collected here, MPARR collector, containers, MPARR EH data. That can take time. I don't remember. I believe yesterday I was sending some information. In this case, when in the way that I am running, the MPARR collector is generating a ping every 5 minutes. For that reason, you can see here that they have data every 5 minutes. I need to identify, we can wait until we have a match, and then we can see the data that, okay, I was not having the right permissions. Give me a moment. I am adding the manual connection to add my permissions to this one, because what happened, because we are getting the information from Content Explorer, we need the Microsoft Purview role groups, Content Explorer Viewer and Content List Viewer. If we don't have those permissions, we cannot get the data. In that order of idea, we saw that showed me the error that was not having the permissions, because I don't give the permissions directly to the service. And now this will be start getting the data and sent to EventHub. Unfortunately, right now that can take some additional minutes that we don't have, but that is the way. It's the same service that today is available for all the script. All the MPARR script have the same configuration. You can send the data to Logs Analytics or to EventHub, not both at the same time. Any other question, comment? Okay, in that case, I really appreciate your participation today. I hope that you can have access to this new script and start testing in your site. And please let me know if you find any other thing that can be very helpful for MPARR solution. And remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel at aka.ms/MPARR-YouTube. And you can please anytime you can contact us and let us know any new things that we can add to MPARR. Thanks a lot for your participation, and we keep in touch. Have a great weekend.